recent times has been uh, much talked about. There was a video that was doing the rounds of social media about a kid, about somebody in his teens. He smashed the entire drawing room because his parents refused to let him play his favorite video game. He
Mm-hmm.
smashed the computer, the television, the other things on display in that room because they
Right.
took away the video game. Now, what is this all about? How does one stop the children from behaving like this?
I think, Raj, if you remember, there was this one era of PUBG. When children used to come out from their homes and they used to like pursue, they used to chase something, they had to kill something. I don't know how that game worked, to be very honest. And I've heard that a lot of people have committed suicide also. They
Yeah,
got so
the,
addicted to these games.
it's not that that era was too long back ago,
Yeah, I
and
think it was just most recent. It was the most recent
it
one. Yeah,
continues
I
even
think.
today. It continues even today.
Yeah. Right, right, right. So I have even seen it with my own, my elder sister's elder son. He is so glued to the game. So it usually, I think with children, the concept of going outdoors and playing has like completely stopped because parents they want to just they don't the parents especially I would say that the parents they don't have that much of patience to bear with the children these days, and they what they're doing is from the very tender age, from a very tender age, they are pushing the mobile phones to the children's hands, and they're just letting them play so that they stop crying, cribbing, asking, demanding, being naughty. So in a way, parents are like stopping children's growth. They're stopping because they are not letting the child focus on anything creative, but it is they're shifting the mind of a child towards something more destructive. So game, anything which is like which is stimulating the brain, okay, is creating an addiction for the child because he's not engaging his mind into anything which is creative, anything which is constructive. Okay, a child's brain wants to first attain the creativity. It wants to first become creative. Okay, hence I think a few years back, I mean, like I think during our times, yours and mine, Raj, we were asked, we were especially my parents, they used to push me to learn Bharatnatyam. They used to push me to play tennis. They used to push me to go learn singing or painting. But now that concept is like fading away. I wouldn't say that every parent is doing that, but majority of the parents they have stopped doing it. So the moment a child is born, to stop that child from crying and asking for milk, parents are showing a cartoon on the mobile phone to the child to stop the child from crying. So this is happening and this is happening continuously. So obviously, what is happening is the child is getting so used to the mobile phone or the gaming, for example, that the child would not even eat food if they don't watch a certain cartoon. The moment you see that a child is or these kids, um, they are getting cranky, the parents will just switch on the TV with with certain cartoons, and they'll ask the child to watch it and just be silent. Okay, so this is happening continuously, and from there, the stimulation to watch something which is uh, which is creative and which is engaging their brain. They are getting into gaming from. So I think the parents should encourage children to go out more often, play with other people, other friends, other children. That will make them mentally intelligent also, rather than being focused on a thing which is only destroying the creative side of the child.
Hmm. In fact, what one has seen is that there is very little physical activity. The children are also growing
Yeah.
obese as a result.
They are. They are. They're growing very obese. They're growing fat. The parents are least bothered about the children's health. I think it's all about mobile phone for children these days and gameplay. So everything like rhyme, starting from nursery rhymes to I think playing cartoons on the mobile phone is becoming so constant and like it is becoming such a habit with children that they just don't want to move out from their beds and sofa sets and play or uh, talk to other children, and hence you've seen that these days the children born are they take time, they have speech issues also because the mind is not focusing on anything constructive. They are only and only busy with their mobile phones, so they will have speech issues, and some children even if they do not have speech issues, they're becoming more and more temperamental. Children have temperamental issues these days. It's all because they are not socializing. We are meant to socialize as humans, and they do not socialize. They're not going out. They're not very outgoing, and parents are not encouraging that either. Yeah, yeah. Please go on, Raj.
Yeah, in fact, I recall a few years back asking a group of children. There
Mm,
was a group of about 12 children asking them to climb trees, and only
mm,
one out of those 12 kids could climb a tree. In our when
mm.
we were younger, we would like the trees were the place where we would hide.
Right,
So
right.
it's impossible to get children to uh, climb trees or run or whatever the physical activity. In fact, the physical activity is limited to children being sent to academies to learn tennis or cricket or whatever,
Right.
and that too is also fairly limited. So what's the way out? I mean, parents generally crib only when, जिसे कहते हैं ना, पानी सर के ऊपर से निकल गया,
Mm.
उसके बाद what's the way out?
Dekho, I think during the COVID times, mostly the parents have suffered a lot, because, there was no way for their children to go out and be with other children and play games or do any outdoor activity. Simple, normal things like physical activities in the sense cycling, for example, will also be helpful to a child. Not necessary that you have to join an academy to go for swimming and tennis. Uh, Letting the child go out, move out of the house rather than, um, giving a mobile phone in the hands and making the child just sit at one place. Okay. Uh, I think if the child is creative, is really creative, you can very well give him a drawing book and ask the child to draw something. I think which child would not like to draw? I mean, children are born with creative mindset. They either want to even play toys. Now the concept of toys is also going away. Now the toys concept was very important for children's mental growth when they were doing something constructive out of these toys. The power of visualization thinking is all lost of children, and what all they see is now is the games and what they show it on the TV. And in fact, even the cartoons that they show it on TVs are not healthy these days. I kind of saw this one program once with my daughter. I think Doraemon. Doraemon, right? Doraemon, yes. Doraemon it was. And on Doraemon, they were showing this girlfriend and boyfriend concept. Like how this guy gets jealous of not having a girlfriend and things like that. So at that early age, you are introducing these concepts to a child. You are actually playing with the innocence of that child. You're not, I'm not saying that it's a wrong concept. Of course, people need to know what all is happening. I mean, children, especially children, need to be aware of what is happening in the world. But at that age, if you are allowing a child to get into something like that, you are actually playing with the innocence of a child. So these things, I think, need to stop somewhere. I mean, rather engage the child's mind towards nursery rhymes. Why not introduce Gita? why not introduce Upanishad? Why not introduce shlokas? Why not introduce something entertaining from our Puranas? Some good stories from our Puranas. Storytelling is something which is very important, and I think children, they love it. They love to hear stories, but because parents these days, they don't have so much of time, so I think these things are being pushed on the children unnecessarily. And hence, I mean, like, I would suggest and request the parents to spend at least an hour with their children, telling them stories from the Purans. You read yourself and teach them as well. Teach them the importance of shlokas. Teach them the importance of spirituality, or like, worshipping at home. So there is nothing wrong with introducing yoga to children at a very tender age. These things can be introduced to children as well. And of course, these spiritual things, that will make the child more mentally intelligent, and he will be more focused on constructive creativity rather than destructive creativity, which is gaming.
Right, and in this, there's one more set of people who definitely can contribute, which is grandparents. They have lots of stories to tell. They have all the
Yeah,
time in the world.
yes, absolutely. Grandparents definitely, but those children who are deprived of their grandparents, I think the
Yeah,
parents should take this, on a priority, and
exactly.
uh, they should take this as their responsibility to at least tell some sort of story to the children, before
Right,
going to sleep also if they do it, and like, try to help the child to understand that, uh, technology is not the only thing in this world. There are a lot of other things too that
right,
a child needs to understand and learn from. Yeah,
right. Okay, so that's where let's end this conversation here.
conversation. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right.
All right, Raj.
Okay.
It was
Right.
lovely talking to you, and see you soon.
Right. Thank you. So we'll